This is the second town hall meeting we've had this month. And so I'm grateful for you guys showing up and coming out this evening. Okay, we have an exciting agenda, I think, this afternoon. We are going to hear about a major mixed-use development in Washington Park. We're going to learn about a major community center coming into the third ward, and also about the Shy Block Builder program and the new housing that is being planned for areas of our ward. Let's see. I think I want to tell people that you can ask any question you want by just putting it in the Q&A. As you guys know, I'll go through every question. I'll stay here as long as it takes, and feel free to do so. We will open up the floor for questions after each presentation. And the video of this meeting will be available. You'll be able to find it in the next couple of days on either my Facebook page, on YouTube, or on the ward's website, which is located at ward03chicago.org. You can also send me emails regarding your thoughts about what you hear this evening. You can send that to ward03@cityofchicago.org. And we will get back to you, or I will get back to you on your concerns if you send us the email. So we're going to get started. We're going to start this evening with the mixed-use development that's planned for 5301 South State Street. That presentation will be given by Kamal Murray, who is the founder and CEO of XS. I always have a problem with those two letters, Kamal. XS Tennis Village, which is located now at 53rd and State on the west side of State Street. So Kamal, I'll turn it over to you and we'll get started.
All right. Thank you, Alderman. Does Brian have the slides?
Yeah, we have the slides. Would you like us to present for you?
Huh?
Share for you? Would you like us to share?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Kamal Murray. I'm the founder and CEO of XS Tennis. We've been there now 9 years. So we're proud to still be alive 9 years later and serving the community. We acquired this parcel, which is directly east on the east side of State Street at 5301 South State Street. Since acquiring the parcel, we've demolished the building that was on the corner there, which was an old dry cleaners. And we have planned for this 51 units of affordable housing, as well as a 125-room hotel. Next slide, Brian. So what you see on the right is ground level commercial and 51 units of housing above that. The ground level commercial will contain 4 indoor pickleball courts, which is the craze of the adult sort of tennis community. People who are maybe aged a little bit and no longer able to move around the tennis court, or people who are picking up racket sports late. Pickleball is an easy sport to learn. It is also played widely amongst the senior community. So we see this as an opportunity to not only serve the kids we've been serving for 9 years, but now be able to invite seniors into the neighborhood and give them something to do all day. Connected to the pickleball, the ground level pickleball is a 2,000 square foot cafe. And that this pickleball married with the cafe should be able to prop up a Black-owned cafe / coffee shop with the constant traffic that we're able to generate from the pickleball courts, mostly during the day. And then after 5, that will also be a great market for people who work. And so we feel that the combination of the two will make the cafe a success. Again, we will not run the cafe. We haven't identified a partner yet. But we have 2 people in mind. to run the cafe. On the left, you will see a 125-room hotel. One of the big pushes for excess tenants is to send more Black kids to Division I colleges. In order to do that, they need to have a national ranking. When I was a kid, my biggest hurdle was that both of my parents worked, and I couldn't travel to the higher level tournaments because they required me to miss school on Friday, stay in a hotel, rent a car, and it was very cost prohibitive. And I had three other siblings, so my parents couldn't just take off and cart me around the country. And so by having this hotel here, it will continue to allow us to host national events, which will allow our kids to basically play these national level tournaments at our own facility in a place where they are comfortable, where they may not be comfortable in Palm Springs and Boca Raton and Madison, Wisconsin. And then it brings people from around the country to our neighborhood to recreate. So instead of our kids having to go somewhere else, our kids can take what I used to call the big green machine, the CTA, to a national level tournament, which has never been done before, by the way. So far we've hosted 35 national tournaments without being able to satisfy the hotel requirement. But if we're going to continue to do that, we need to be able to satisfy the hotel requirement. So on the ground level of this hotel, there will not be a bar, there will not be a restaurant. Again, the lack of bar and restaurant should feed the cafe, and it should feed the new restaurant that is going to be built at Excess Tennis, which should break ground in a couple of weeks. On the corner there, you also see 2,000 square feet of ground level commercial, which we will take any suggestions from the community on what to put there. Next slide. A little bit more description about the hotel. So it would be a brand called Hyatt Studios. That brand does not exist in the state of Illinois yet, but it is basically the Hyatt competitor to Residence Inn. So every room has a stove, refrigerator, kind of kitchenette thing. So it's meant to be extended stay, which fits our model because when we have tournaments, people are here for 5 days. What you see here to limit traffic on State Street, we've created a driveway for both that will be shared by the residential as well as the hotel. And it will allow if people Uber home or people Uber to the cafe and the pickleball amenity, then they can pull in, get dropped off. They won't have to be in State Street and, be in the line of, speeding cars down State Street. If they're coming to the hotel, they can just continue on another 30 feet, unload their luggage, check in. And once they check in, they can pull out of the driveway and pull into the parking lot that is to the rear. We're going to put a no left turn sign here at the exit of the hotel, as well as a concrete median. So nobody has to cross 4 lanes of traffic to go and head south on State. So all traffic will go north on State Street. This is TOD, so we do have residential parking at the rear of the property, and we have parking for the hotel at the rear as well. Next slide.
And TOD is transit-oriented development.
Yep.
Some people may not know that. Well,
Yep. So right now I'll go into sort of the affordability requirements, the affordability of the units. So of the 51 units, 47 of them will be affordable, or 50 of them will be affordable, which we are extremely proud of to be able to provide affordable housing to the neighborhood. So at the building is entirely 1s and 2 bedrooms. So at the 60% AMI, a 1 bedroom is about $1,100 and a 2 bedroom is about $1,300. At 30% AMI, a 1 bedroom is $550 and a two bedroom is about $650. So these apartments are deeply affordable, which we think is an added benefit to the neighborhood. Again, it shows on the ground level, you'll see the 4 pickleball courts as well as an 1,800 square foot cafe. Next slide, Brian. This is sort of a floor plan of the ground level. So you can see the cafe right there that opens right into the pickleball area. So people come in, check in, grab a cup of coffee, a croissant, whatever, a sandwich, salad, and wait their turn to play and hopefully stay and recreate and eat again. The goal is to try to get 2 meals out of each of the participants. We've got a residential lobby that is separate from the cafe, mail room, a bike room, trash that'll be picked up from the rear of the property through the alley. At the hotel, we will have a multi-purpose room. So this is basically a meeting room that can be booked by, residents of the hotel or people who want to have events in the neighborhood. If you want to have a community meeting or baby shower, wedding shower, rehearsal dinner, you can have that here. Again, there's no restaurant in the hotel, so all the food would have to be brought in. There's also a pool. So there's a pool at the rear of the property that's available to people who are staying at the hotel. You will have to be, staying at the hotel to use the pool. It is not, quote unquote, a community pool. And then at the corner of 53rd and State, you'll see 2,000 square feet of retail, which faces Beasley. So we haven't identified a definite use of that space, but through the process of as we get through the zoning process, we can definitely meet and see what the needs of the community are. I can think of a few, but I don't want to assume. So again, the restaurant, the hotel has no food, just a grab and go. So there's, Gatorade, water, coffee, M&Ms, grab and go sandwiches in the lobby of the hotel. But the goal would be for all the hotel patrons to have to patronize the cafe that's under the housing and or the restaurant that's across the street. It will be at the front of Excess Tennis. Next slide. These are the units. So you can see the 1 bedrooms and the 2 bedrooms that are here. You can also see on the second floor of the housing, there will be a residential roof deck. So the reason why it's 51 units and not 52 is we took one of the units, which is that white box there labeled amenity, and we created a 900 square foot amenity party room that the residents can use, and that also exits to the residential deck. The housing will be a 5-story building, 4 stories of housing and 1 commercial floor, and the hotel will be 6 stories. Next slide. This is another view of this. So to create, just bring all the traffic off the street and not disturb the walking traffic nor the traffic on State Street. We've kind of set the entrance back off the sidewalk to not disturb residential, just the everyday traffic from the residents. And you see these 2 buildings. The reason why the buildings are angled the way they are was to try to get more units and more rooms. If we had them straight along the sidewalk, we would have lost 50 feet of frontage for the buildings, and we wouldn't have been able to fit enough hotel rooms. Or we'd have had to build a taller building, and then we would have had to kind of force less units in the residential. So actually, by angling the buildings this way, we create larger buildings without creating taller buildings that would be very imposing with the neighborhood. Next slide. And this is just another view here. So you can see the residential in this view is on your right side of the screen, and then the hotel is straight ahead on the left side of the screen. So it's a 2-lane kind of driveway. So if somebody's exiting a car at the residential, somebody going to the hotel or just dropping somebody off, Ubering, they can keep going in the left lane to keep on out of the driveway. And this is a visual of that northwest corner of the building here. So this would make a great commercial location, very visible. A lot of people will stop at the stoplight. You can see the concrete median here. There have already been some improvements to the crosswalk in the curb, but if you drive down State Street right now, that have been completed. So we see this as being a very pedestrian friendly sort of corner to connect Excess Tennis to the hotel, to the residential, and the students who are leaving Beasley to come over for after school. This creates a more pedestrian friendly sort of crosswalk. The schedule. So right now we are on zoning commission in July. And after we get zoning approval and we can kind of lock in the building heights and dimensions, then we will start a full design. And that process is going to take us about 3 months. And then we're going to apply for permits in November. And, the permit process is taking 5 to 6 months in the city. And then, early next year or second quarter of next year, we hope to start construction. And construction will last 12 months. So this project is set to be done in 2027. Next slide.
I think that's all I got for you, Kamau.
All right. So at this time, I will take any questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kamal, for your presentation. There are some questions in here, Q&A for you. I'll start with Edward Cheney. He wants to know, how did you acquire property that was formerly federal property that was used for housing low-income families?
So this property was not federal property. I acquired one parcel from a tax buyer, and I acquired another property from a private landowner who had owned it for over 20 years. So this was not city-owned land nor CHA-owned land. This was privately owned land that had been dormant for 20 years.
Thank you for that. Edward Cheney also wants to know, how is groundbreaking going to take place in a few weeks when there has been no hearing in front of the zoning committee? No hearings have taken place in the city planning commission and the city council. I think you were referring to the restaurant, were you not?
Yeah. So the restaurant, we intend to start construction at Excess Tennis. This is not on this parcel. It was across the street. Yes.
All right, this is Judith Jordan. This development is located within less than 100 feet to Beasley Elementary School. A hotel can serve as an unwarranted, I guess she meant unwanted location for child stalkers. What is your second opinion or proposal site for this project, and where will it be located?
So at Excess Tennis, we serve 2,000 kids a year, 2,386 to be exact. So we are as concerned about the kids as you all are at Beasley. From our standpoint, someone that has to rent a room with an ID and a credit card, a camera, a hotel with hundreds of cameras, a hotel with a key fob access to the elevator, and a camera inside the elevator, and then a key fob access to a hotel room with cameras all in every hallway and employees in the lobby. I see that as a low risk for child abduction. I see a bigger risk in the Washington Park community to vacant garages, vacant buildings, vacant lots. I don't know that if I am looking to abduct a child, I'm going to walk past 3 or 4 employees with cameras everywhere, with my ID on file and key fob access everywhere I turn, which track my movements. I don't know that that would be the smartest place for me to take an abducted child, when I could just take them 2 blocks east to a vacant building or a vacant garage. So we don't really see that as a concern. In addition, the entrance to the hotel is 150 feet, or 240 feet to be exact, off of this corner of 53rd and State Street, and the hotel is angled south. So there are no doors at all on the north side of the hotel that face Beasley. So there would be no easy way in, easy way out to pull a child into the hotel. So in my mind, that is less of a risk than what we have right now. Vacant garages, vacant buildings.
Judith, I'd like to add on to that. We have a hotel in the ward, the South Loop Hotel, which is located adjacent to Drake Elementary School. And that hotel has been there for at least 15 years. And I have had no issues with child stalking or child abduction with the hotel that's similarly situated as this development will be. The next question is from Edward Cheney. It's basically the same question, although he is saying that it's less than 50 feet from the hotel, and a hotel frequented by transients, with transients meandering and wandering through. And I know that this is not a transient hotel for transients. Kamal, do you have anything you want to add to that?
This is not a pay by the hour hotel. This is not a hotel that's going to be priced at a way where it's going to invite that kind of traffic. As well as, what I will say is that I'm across the street every single day from 8 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m. And so this investment that I'm making is one that I'm going to monitor. And I have a very vested interest here. I'm not like a hotel operator that lives in Lincoln Park or another state. This is something that I'm using to further my mission. So I am deeply connected to what happens here and will monitor it. And so, any issues or concerns, um, will have my full attention because I'm right there. So my kids play tennis at the tennis center. My kids walk up and down State Street as well. So all of your concerns are very valid, but you're talking to somebody that is deeply invested in the neighborhood in multiple ways. And, you know, I care about all the issues you care about, but I just don't think that should be as big of a concern as I could name 2 or 3 other properties east of here where there's no garage door in the garage and somebody could be drug into. So I don't know that I'm as concerned about that.
All right, this question's from Ellen Kennedy. She says, "Hi, this seems like a great development for a much needed area. Regarding the affordable housing, why only 1 and 2 bedrooms? Families who need affordable housing often require 3 bedrooms and developments rarely accommodate that."
So based on, I mean, the lot is not as big as you thought. I mean, we tried everything to get as many units as we could. That's why we angled the building the way we did. But we are building 3 bedrooms elsewhere in the neighborhood. So we've got some 3 bedroom units that are coming to the corner of 5400 South Dearborn. But we just could not fit 3 bedrooms in this building with the footprint, with the parking requirements, with the driveway, et cetera. So we are developing, and we have actually received permits for some 4 bedrooms in the 5400 block of Dearborn and 2 3 bedroom duplexes on 5400 Dearborn. But this building just could not accommodate it.
Right, and I will add uh, to this that we have some housing development going up as we speak at 45th and State Street, which does accommodate affordable housing for 2 and 3 bedroom units that are involved, that they are in that development. Edward Cheney again, what is your community benefits plan for the Washington Park community?
So Edward, I've been operating in Washington Park for 9 years, and we have 2,300 kids that are being served across from Excess Tennis. Any CHA resident comes for free, 52 weeks a year, tennis, tutoring, summer camp, etc. And so I've done a great benefit to the neighborhood every day, right? And so this development will meet all MWBE requirements. I will employ people that look like me in the hotel, as well as managing the housing, as well as the pickleball and cafe. So I appreciate the question, but I feel like, my organization does a benefit to the neighborhood every single day, and we will employ people from the neighborhood who want to work here full time, whether it's working in the hotel, which will have 25 employees, as well as the housing, the management, and the pickleball and cafe.
Okay, you might want to speak to your current employment over at Excess Tennis and all the, what's the word I'm looking for? The contractors you hire, the catering
Yeah,
companies, the electrical companies that I've seen over there, your landscaper, all of those folks. You're
yeah. So,
providing.
Edward, I'm the largest employer of Black tennis coaches in the country. We've got 40 employees and 39 of them Black. So, um, we do that on a regular basis. Anytime you walk in Excess Tennis, every electrician, every carpenter, every repairman is African American. When we built the facility, Alderman can share with you when we, had union workers and there weren't enough black workers on the project site, I painted the facility myself. Um, so I'm somebody that is committed to the community, and have employed a lot of people and still employ a lot of people. And so the same will happen at the hotel. There will not only be just Black contracts, but also Black workforce that is on the project.
All right, we're gonna move on. Stacy Reynolds says, "Congratulations on your vision. May it be so. An anonymous attendee wants to know what amenities are available for community members.
Yeah, so the pickleball is a great thing. I mean, we got, pickleball on the ground floor. You can get coffee, sandwiches, and housing. I think what the ward needs more than anything is housing, right? We talk about grocery stores, et cetera. We need rooftops to attract those things. And so I think this 51 units is a step toward that.
Andy Skolnick asked, the Excess Tennis Village is exactly across the street from this new development?
Yes,
The
directly.
answer is yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Sherry Griffin wants to know what happened to the dance center that was coming next door to the tennis center. I can answer that, Sherry. Thank you for the question. The deeply rooted dance theater is still on the agenda, still planned. It's actually planned to go just south of this development at the corner of 54th and State Street. They are in the last stage of getting financing. They're in the middle of a major capital campaign. They already have a commitment from the city of Chicago, I believe, of about $5 million. And I think that they may be asking for some additional support. But they're also speaking currently to their state representatives and to private foundations and the private sector to get all the money they need to start building. Dion Foreman, great answer, he says. This is from Dr. Akai Y. Will player development be changing at Excess at some point so that players from Chicago have more access to national level tournaments? Is Excess moving away from being a foundation and its initial mission?
No, this is Excess creating an opportunity to continue to have the national tournament so minority kids can get the national ranking to attend better schools.
Edward Cheney, we answered your question about how will you monitor what happens at the hotel. We're not going to go over that again. Judith Jordan's question is, in reality, this project does not fit in size-wise or amenities that the current community just east of this immediate development. Did you think to consult with us as to the needs and desires that would benefit the immediate community?
That's what this meeting is for. So just so we're clear, we don't have a permit. We are simply trying to get zoning approval so we can zero in on the costs and a budget for the project. And so, this is the first of many meetings. But if you have a specific concern, you can come see me anytime. Everyone that's requested a meeting, I've given them time. You pop in, I got time for you. So, yes, we have considered.
And Ms. Jordan, I think too, you have to give some consideration to the private market. That piece of property has sat vacant for decades. And a lot of State Street south of 51st Street has done so. And I think that it's great to see the private sector wanting to make an investment in this community. I'm sure that's going to have value to the community and value to the property owners that are just east of this location. I'd be very interested to hear about more of your concerns, and if you feel free to reach out to me, we can have that conversation. Karen Shines says, I've never seen any unseemly activity at either Beasley or Excess Tennis facility. I'm on the LSC at Beasley and haven't heard of any attempts at child abductions. Since Excess Tennis hosts international athletes, I believe Mr. Murray will not allow unseemly activity on his property. Anonymous attendee. If majority of your customers are expected to be tennis-related people or those competing in a tournament, what is the target market outside of tennis-related people?
Yeah, so we hope to have people coming who are visiting the Obama Library or um, visiting people at the UFC hospital or going to the White Sox game. We are one of the few hotels with a pool. And so we, hope to capitalize on that market. But, when we did the studies, we based our pro forma on having low occupancy Monday through Wednesday and heavy occupancy Thursday through Saturday because we can drive the traffic. And so those are the ones we hope to piggyback on further developments that are happening, in the neighborhood.
Uh, Edward Cheney is questioning your bona fides, Kamal. He says, he stated that you are concerned about the neighborhood. Do you live in Washington Park?
So yeah, let me just help you understand who I am. So my people from Robert Taylor, my dad went to DuSable. I lived in 4818 South Michigan for 15 years. I coached a U.S. Open champion and Olympic gold medalist and a world #1 junior at the age of 16. I could have built a facility in Highland Park, Burr Ridge, anywhere and made a bunch of money, but I chose to build it here. So I'm not a person you got to question my bona fides. If you want to come meet me in person, you can come meet me at 5336 South State. But I had other options and I chose this option. In addition to that, my parents mortgaged their house when the facility came up short on money. And my mom was a CPS principal at Hyde Park High School for 26 years. So my people have sacrificed a lot to have this amenity in this neighborhood. And so we deserve to continue to prop up that investment, um, you know, so that it's sustainable, right? Excess tennis is not sustainable with no coffee shop, no food, no breakfast, no sandwich, no nothing. And so my goal is not to disrespect my mom who refinanced her house for me to build this facility. I'm gonna make sure it's successful. So we're gonna bring food, we're gonna bring activities, we're gonna bring other stuff for adults and seniors and housing. So, that's a fine thing to do, but you can come meet me and when you leave, you'll see I'm bona fide.
All right, I think one more question and then some comments, and then we're gonna go on, move on. Anonymous attendee is concerned. You explained that you care about the students. However, what are you planning to do about the current situation with the students across the street at SBEV, Chicago nonprofit organization? What are your plan about the excessive heat situation?
SBEV has acquired their own property at Corpus Christi. That is a CPS school, and that CPS school, like most CPS schools, did not have air conditioning. So there are window and wall units. And so, hey, in extreme heat, it's hot. The indoor tennis courts at Excess Tennis also don't have air conditioning because you don't typically air condition indoor tennis spaces because you're playing outside. And so we're doing the best we can to manage the heat as the rest of the city.
Thank you. Guion Foreman, thank you for your commitment to the community. Eric Small, outstanding project. Please comment on your financing plan. Will you be using low-income housing tax credits?
We plan to apply for 4% low-income housing tax credits. We cannot do so until we get through zoning. So we plan to apply for the non-competitive 4% low-income housing tax credits.
All right, Valerie Harris, my question about the affordable housing, is there income requirement or limit to meet the criteria?
Yes, so 47 of the units, you must make 60% of the average median income. And for 3 of the units, you must make 30% of the AMI. And there's one unit where you can make, you can be a wealthy person and rent the unit.
Congratulations and kudos. Let's make this happen. That's from Valerie Harris. Crystal Rials, how many rooms are facing the back? I think I'm not sure if she means hotel or residential.
Well, it's 50-50. So half the units will face east and half the units will face west.
Okay. Gergoni, I applaud your vision and investment along the South State Street corridor. We will take, let's see. Okay, do you own a building at 5410 South State? Come on.
Yes, I rent. That's the Ace Tech. Yes.
Oh, okay, they're asking about the heat
Mhm.
for SBEV, same question.
Mhm.
James Huckabee, congratulations, Kamal. Guion Foreman, there is a 100-foot tall building 1 block to the south, Schultz Baking Company. I don't know why he mentioned that. Great job, Melvin Bailey. Great job on bringing development to a community that's been overlooked for years. Great vision, David Wilson. As a homeowner and father living immediately east, Brian, somebody keeps messing with the questions here. So okay. As a homeowner and father living immediately east of this development, I fully support this project. Thank you for helping to make Washington Park a vibrant community. Sheila Dantzler, great work, Kamal. Lauren Amos, thank you for staying real to Bronzeville. Your investments are honorable. He did answer your question. He does not live in Washington Park, Edward Cheney. Crystal Reales, how many children attended Excess from Beasley and the community?
I don't know specifically because we don't ask them what school they go to, but a lot. And we also have hosted PE class for Beasley for years, where they would come over and use the tennis courts for PE class.
Okay, I think I'll stop here.
And we also
Um,
hosted their graduation last year for free.
Somebody named Sean Holcomb Jones as a national representative from the United States Tennis Association, who's worked closely with you on many initiatives, including an annual Christmas community give back. This seems to be a great enhancement for the tennis center and community at large. When can we apply for apartments? Someone else?
It'll be at least a year.
All right. Thank you, Kamal. The last question, and this is, I think, I feel the same way, comes from Constant Turner Burks. She says, congratulations on a wonderful vision in the community. Thank you for caring about fitness, family, and our environment. So thank you, Kamal. Anything you want to add as you close out here?
Yeah, no, I mean, we've got a long way to go. You know, obviously zoning, design, city council approval, et cetera. So, you know,
All right,
there's more. Thank you for having us, and we'll stay in touch.
thank you. We'll move on. Speaking of SBEV, we have a new community organization. Many of you may know of SBEV, and some of you are going to learn about them for the first time this evening. And so I want to ask Cassandra Matthews to unmute and give her presentation. Cassandra?
Thank you so much, Alderman Pat Dowell. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today to speak to the community about SBEV. And as you already stated, we are a new kid on the block, but very happy to be here. My name is Cassandra Matthews, and I'm the Director of Strategic Operations and Engagement at SBEV. Before I go any further, can I have Brian bring up the slides, please?
There you go.
Thank you so much. So again, my name is Cassandra Matthews. I'm the Director of Strategic Operations and Engagement at SBEV Chicago. I am also a resident of the 3rd Ward and live just 2 blocks from our new King campus that we're going to be opening soon. On the call here with me today, I have Zeb, Janae, Tony, and Matt, who are all members of our team as well. And I know also I have some members of my core team out there as well, so thank you all for joining today. Similarly, we will answer questions at the end of the presentation. So any questions you have, please drop them down in the Q&A and we will address them at that time. So SBEV, who is SBEV? So SBEV is named for Sylvester Broom, who is a longtime community activist and advocate out of Flint, Michigan. SBEV kind of was born out of the Flint water crisis. During the period of time in Flint, when they were going through the water crisis, we were a hub, a community hub where you can come and get clean water, and it acts as a distribution site, and a community center. So basically morphed out of that. Our goal was to reinforce having a community resource and a hub for youth development. As we know, the water crisis impacted the youth more than any other demographic. And so by it being a distribution center for water, it morphed into a larger, broader mission of total youth empowerment. Next slide, please. Since 2021, we came here to Chicago. So as it's already been mentioned, we are located 5410 South State Street, and we're on one floor of the previous Ace Tech building. With this expansion to the new King campus, which is right there at Corpus Christi, we'll be able to expand our offerings far beyond where we are currently. This is meant to be our permanent home for our programming and services, and a unique opportunity to create a community hub and a community center. As you may or may not know, SBEP is affiliated with Insight Hospital, which is the former Mercy Hospital that's located at 25th and Michigan. As part of Insight's philosophy of care, we believe in being a safety net hospital, which means we serve the entire community, not just those who happen to walk through our hospital doors. As such, SBEV is the youth serving arm of Insight Hospital. So essentially what we're looking at is, we don't want to just interact with you when you are in need going into the hospital. We want to be able to have interventions far before then, which is where that youth empowerment branch comes into play. The acquisition of the former Corpus Christi Catholic Church at 49th and King allows us to both expand and serve the community. It also creates a new anchor for preserving and activating the beautiful structure. It's a stunning building. If you're familiar with it, you can't miss it. You come up on it and it's just really breathtaking. We've engaged Zeb McLaurin, which is on the call here today. Thank you, Zeb, as our local developer for this very important project. When we talk about wraparound services, which is what our mission is, we mean those services encompass the comprehensive support and services youth and their families. We know that is what is needed to thrive. And for instance, one of the services we'll offer is a food pantry that addresses food insecurity for all of the families that we serve. Next slide, please. Thank you. So currently, SBEV serves youth between 5 and 14. So that's about K through 8th grade. With our expansion, however, we'll be able to serve youth up to age 18. Over the past year, we have served over 600 youth from about 150 families, with programming support around athletics, art, education, performing arts, and wellness. Some of the class offerings, for example, that we teach music production, culinary arts and nutrition, MMA, breakdancing, bucket drumming, music, and art therapy. With our expansion, we'll be able to serve youth, young adults from 18 to 25 as well, in our workforce development programming, mentorship, as well as college readiness. Next slide, please. So here are just some numbers. As I mentioned, Flint, we've been in Flint we celebrate 10 years this year, which is a huge milestone for us. So as you can see here, they've been able to serve 15,000 families. We have served a little over 3,000 families. This expansion will help us to meet and exceed Flint's numbers. And we're really looking to expand our footprint physically by going into this much larger facility, which will be able to allow us to offer more programs as well as serve more families and youth. Next slide, please. With our expanded footprint, we can offer a broader range of academic and performing arts programming. The massive cathedral area, which is right in the front, will be converted into a multi-purpose space with a stage for performances, basketball court for sports. We're working to also retrofit the flooring to allow for other sports that can be played in that space, such as flag football as well. And it's also a perfect location for hosting community events. And the emphasis here is really on community. This is not just a youth empowerment program. This is meant to be a space that can service the entire community. We understand that Corpus Christi previously, when it was a functioning church, was not just a place for worship, right? It was a place for community engagement. It was a place of education. They had a school building there as well. And it really was a community hub. And we, trying to keep that legacy alive, we want to mirror that here at SBEV as well. In partnership with Insight, we'll also provide healthcare services and a food market, which are two of our standout programs that I'm very much looking forward to. Next slide, please. Thank you. So here's our project timeline. This pretty much represents where we are right now, May, or we're in June now, but May of 2025, we took ownership of the building, and we are currently in that campus clean out section of our project. With our next phase being our community engagement, which we're here today to do that, just that thing is engage with our community. But our plan is to have full operation by early 2027. So let me just kind of back up just a tiny bit. We are looking to be in the office space by the end of this year. So we'll have our administrative offices there. We will also offer programming in a pop-up model for our youth. So we'll continue that youth engagement. And then we will have on-site programming starting at the top of 2026. For community engagement, we have a few items coming up, which are the canvassing that we're going to be doing. We are going to be reaching out to residents of the Third Ward, particularly around that 2-mile radius around the building. We want to hear from you all. What is it that you're looking for? Do you have children within the range that we're serving? What kind of services do you or your family need? Do you have a not-for-profit program that you're looking for space? Because we'll have leasing opportunities as well. Do you need community space to host any of your events, for example? So those are some of the questions we'll be asking in that canvassing. We also have Bud Billiken, which we already know is a standout event here in Chicago. We will be prominently in the parade. We will also be at the festival afterwards in Washington Park, and we'll be there to engage with our families as we have in the past and gathering information from you all. And then we also are very much looking forward to our 10-year anniversary celebration, which will be happening in the fall of 2025. Next slide, please. Oh, can you back up one more slide? Thank you so much. So here are just some pictures here that I just wanted to highlight some of the programs. You can see the last picture here under the 10th anniversary. This is one of our standout students here who is painting a mural with one of our instructors, for our art instructors. And I just want to really highlight our instructors. We focus tremendously on, and we pride ourselves in, all of our instructors are residents of Chicago, and they are local professionals in their own right. As I mentioned at the top, I myself am a resident of the Third Ward. We have many others who work for us who are representative of the community. We understand how important it is for the folks who are teaching and directly interacting with the families and students to reflect the community. And so that is something that I am very much looking forward to expanding and continuing, offering employment opportunities to locals in the area, and then first and foremost, getting that feedback from you all. Next slide, please. So for our main points of contact, if you have any additional questions, is Miriam Rasul, who is our CEO. Her contact information is there, as well as Janae Meyer. Her contact information is there as well for any additional questions that you may have of us. I just want to leave you all with this, which is that we hope to really transform our underserved communities. We understand how important it is for us to reinvest in our communities, especially in the area so prominent as the Corpus Christi building, located at 49th and King. and really ensuring that we are promoting equitable communities by developing and investing in our youth. Our youth, I know it's so cliche to say, is our future, but it truly is. And so that is what SBE's mission is all about, is empowering the youth and the families through those wraparound services that I mentioned earlier. And with that, I'll give it back over to you.
Thank you, Cassandra. I just wanted to say that last slide really shows the joy that I've seen in the children who have come to your program as I've come through and, you know, taken a look at a lot of the things that you do. And I'm really happy that you are investing in this community. And thank you for looking at Corpus Christi, which has, as you mentioned, a long legacy in this community that you certainly will be continuing. I don't see any questions in the Q&A on this one.
Well,
I can't believe it.
that either, but I do have a comment. I have a
Okay.
comment though that I'd like to share. That I kind of buried the lead on this one. All of our services, the youth empowerment village is completely free of charge to all of our families. So I just wanted to highlight that with, you know, I am a mother myself, and knowing the cost of after school care, especially for summer, is astronomical, and especially if you have multiple children. So being able to provide a free resource to our community we're just so proud of that legacy that we have. So being able to have your child learn, you know, music production. I mean, they made songs in our last session, like on Spotify songs. So this is not just, you know, your run-of-the-mill after school program, but our children are truly being empowered and enriched. And our prayer and our hope is that, you know, the children that we touch will go into the community, become advocates themselves. So just wanted to highlight that it is completely free to all families who enroll their children.
All right, so there is one question and two comments. One comment is from an anonymous attendee. She's a team member at SBEV, and she is, I don't know if it's a she, but it says, I am very excited to expand our work into the Bronzeville community. We absolutely love working with our Beasley and surrounding students. Then we have a comment from Valerie Harris. She is an LCSW social worker who does psychotherapy, and she'd like to volunteer her services.
I love that. We actually do have a therapist on site at our facility. And again, going back to that wraparound services, we do refer for behavioral health. We refer for food insecurity as well. So we have many partners across the Chicago area where we do that. We provide free meals to all of our students through GCFD. So right now for summer, we offer 2 free meals. And we also have an extended camp as well that is sports focused, which helps our kids get out there and get them more conscious of movement and health and wellness as well. So I love that. Please reach out to us. We love to hear from our local professionals who want to get involved.
Okay, and Karen Shine wants to know, will you continue programming at ACE, or will you move completely to Corpus Christi?
That's a great question. We are going to be moving completely to Corpus Christi. That is our new home.
All right. Zeb, is there anything you want to add?
No, ma'am. Cassandra answered it all. There's short and sweet and to the point. So thank you.
All right. Well, Cassandra and Zeb, thank you so much for presenting this evening, and look forward to you being at Corpus Christi and continuing our work together. Thank you so much for coming this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move to Shy Block Builder, which is a land sale program by the city of Chicago. We're going to have Justin Peterson explain the program to you, and then that will be followed by presentations from Bonita Harrison and Joseph Duche, 2 housing builders in the community, to talk about the work that is contemplated in the Bronzeville community. Justin?
Yes, thank you, Alderman. Thank you, everyone. Nice to be here. My name is Justin Peterson. I'm the supervising planner for what we call the Southeast region. That is really everything from the South Lakefront as far west as Damon or so, and from the South Loop to really South Shore and the USX site. But as many folks may know, the kind of greater Bronzeville area is really the most active in terms of development. So I'm here to talk about the block builder process, which has been something that we have been constructing over the course of the last 2 years, and with the idea of really elevating our ability to sell city-owned land. As many folks probably know, we own approximately 10,000 parcels throughout the city, primarily on the south and west side. And we want to be able to sell those at a good clip and at scale in order to spur development. And that takes us building actually a process that is transparent, that allows people to apply, that allows us to evaluate things quickly and move forward. And why this is important, just to give you a sense of where the department is coming from. The entire country is really in a housing crisis. But interestingly enough, this has actually shifted more to Chicago in the last 2 or 3 years, at least really since the kind of COVID crisis. A lot of folks moved, temporarily out of the city or moved maybe down south. But since then, we have seen a rapid return to the city, and our housing prices have been increasing. In fact, I just saw there was a Crain's article just yesterday. I think we're now increasing 4 times the rate of the national rate. And so, this is obviously a burden on, and especially younger folks and older folks on fixed income. That don't have as many options. Here's some just basic facts. And this is shocking, really, I think, for a lot of people. The average age of a new home buyer in the United States is 56 years old. Younger generations just don't have the ability to purchase a home at the age that they used to. Tremendous amount of our renters are spending more than 30% of their income on rent. That's the threshold that's considered affordable. So if you're spending more than 30% of your income on rent, you're housing stressed. We also, want to note that increasing housing supply, including of market rate units, will help to slow rising costs. That's kind of a supply and demand thing. The more housing that gets built, the more options that people have. They may be expensive compared to previous existing properties, but it's important to remember that really the most affordable housing tends to be older housing. So by building new units, we're taking the pressure off the older units, and those can kind of stay more affordable for longer. And then lastly, where the market is really, heading towards more and more people wanting to live in walkable communities. But very little of the United States metro areas is walkable, and so Chicago's sort of uniquely positioned to be able to increase our housing supply in that fashion. The chart on the right is really just showing you it's a kind of a heat chart of inventory. We are way down here at the bottom, which means that our inventory has radically declined since COVID, whereas much of the Sun Belt areas that were getting a lot of investment prior to that are starting to kind of have much higher inventory and lower prices. And again, in terms of how Chicago's positioned to meet this moment, it's worth reminding everyone that we are down nearly 1 million people from where we were about 70 years ago. And that population loss has been really citywide, but especially concentrated in, of course, our south and west sides. So this is kind of a population density map from 1950, and this is where we are today. Sorry, it's a little blurry here. But as you can see, we've lost almost 900,000 people, even though our household count, that's individual households, has increased. So there's a lot of things happening here to explain this. I won't get into all of it, but clearly we know the history of redlining, divestment in our neighborhoods, the demolition of public housing. All of these things have had an effect, but also demographic change. is part of the story, in that, it used to be that there was a lot more intergenerational housing, right? People living with their parents, or larger families. Really, household size has declined pretty dramatically over the last 70 years as well. People are just having fewer kids. More people are living alone. That could be young people. That could be older folks. So there's actually a significant need for all housing types, but including not necessarily single family homes. And single family homes, we certainly support those, but one of the driving factors there is, again, a cost issue. The cost of construction in the city of Chicago is pretty high. It costs about 450, 500,000 just to build, a single family home, which means that they're going to be on the market without subsidy at a much higher price point, closer to 700,000 or above. So, and particularly looking at Bronzeville, this is one of the neighborhoods that has seen the greatest population loss over the last 70 years, but it's also on the rebound. So, down 79% since 1950, but since 2010, it's actually, and as people have seen, there's been, considerable amount of infill construction. So it's increasing again. The map on the left shows you the areas of the city that are increasing, and those that are still declining. So, there is a market for housing in Bronzeville. It's one of the few places actually on the south side where we can build market rate housing without city subsidy at I think an increasingly rapid clip. So that's kind of the gist behind why we want to streamline our land sale process so that we can construct a lot more housing. And again, housing can come in many forms. It can be larger buildings like those downtown, or the project that Kamal just presented. But really, the bread and butter are our infill lots. So single family homes to 2 flats, 3 flats, 6 flats, and that's kind of where we're focused here. So the Block Builder program is something that's available for everybody to check out online. You can literally just Google Block Builder, and it's the first thing that would come up. I would go to the homepage, which is here. I'll be totally honest, it's not always the easiest one to navigate, but we're doing the best we can, and we're going to continue to refine this. We do releases for city-owned land twice a year. So we have an April release and an October release, and that's part of, by having it planned release dates like that, it just allows us to better plan and again try to get these things moving through our system systematically. There's a tremendous amount of there's actually several different programs that the Block Builder website is the platform for. So we will post larger RFPs on this site. So for that could be for a larger, site that is probably going to be a bigger development. People might be familiar with our Missing Middle program, which was piloted in North Lawndale last fall, and we've brought in this latest April release, we have clusters in the they're kind of scattered. They're not all in one neighborhood, but from West Chatham to South Shore. We also do things like side yards and urban ag gardening sites through here, or the Department of Housing's City Lots for Working Families, which is the program that is more traditionally been focused on affordable home ownership, particularly single family homes in two flats. But market rate is really what we're talking about tonight, and that's where the city is posting the lot. We get a valuation. We have a contract, and where we're basically able to get market valuations very quickly, and we offer it at the market value, and then we accept applications. So we're going to kind of focus on the development sites that Alderman Dowell asked us to prioritize here on 42nd Place and between King and Vincennes. So we first released these in April of last year, but I just want to point out its adjacency to several other investments and upcoming planning projects that are happening. So of course, the 43 Green buildings right adjacent to the Green Line station are actually just a couple blocks away, right across King. We're also beginning the planning process for the Bronzeville Trail, which promises to be an incredible amenity for the neighborhood, and really a kind of cultural destination, I think, countrywide. And we've also got a large site nearby that we've listed recently as well. So this is a pretty active part of the Bronzeville area. These were the city-owned pins that we listed in April of 2024. One of the reasons, one of the things that I should mention here is that, you know, from the development side, it's not easy to build buildings. It is. I have a background as an architect. It's much easier to design them than it is to build them, and so one of the things that helps developers, or that makes this more feasible, is by clustering sites together. It allows a developer to kind of move sequentially across sites to save money and time, and lower the cost of construction, which lowers the cost of the housing itself. We looked at these sites. We also included a couple across the street in the Fourth Ward, because it made sense to kind of build out this whole block at the same time, hence the name Block Builder. So when we post applications, it's open, anybody can apply. We have an evaluation process for evaluating those applicants. Again, given that, you know, the goal, particularly in the market rate sales, is really to get housing built. Or, you know, we also do market rate sales on corridor, sites, so that might be mixed use development or something. But for these infill lots, it's really to build housing. We want to be sure that the folks that we move forward with have the capacity to be able to actually do that, and within a timely manner. So our evaluation is heavily weighted on proof of relevant experience and project plans and financial feasibility. So we get a lot of applications that might come from, let's say, a contractor, somebody who has done, some renovation work, but they haven't yet built a full new build building. We would recommend, in that case, if you're interested in applying, to try to partner with somebody who has that experience, that can kind of take you through the process. And then, you know, eventually we would hope that, you know, that person who's transitioning from being a contractor or let's say focused on renovation to new build, you know, that then we have another local developer in the community. We want to prioritize local developers, and people who are in the community, people who know the community. And we want to build that pool, because the more folks that we have doing this work, the more that we can do, and the more housing we can build. That's how the evaluation is scored. Again, heavily on experience and financial feasibility. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that Joseph was going to be here tonight as well, so I kind of focused on Benita's parcels here. So this is an example of some just figures for each of these addresses. This is the address. This was the market valuation. So that's how much the land itself costs. And then the amount of applications that we received and the scores. So this gives you an idea. It's scored from 1 to 100. We would consider anything north of 50 to be maybe workable, but we again are going to prioritize people that score the highest, especially on the feasibility metrics. So this cluster, we had two really strong applicants in Benita and Joseph, and we decided that it would make sense to kind of split the sites up, having talked to them, based on what the capacity could be to move forward. So these are the sites that Benita and Sunshine Management have, that she'll present in a bit, and then Joseph Touche has the 3 parcels to the west. And just to note, again, these are primarily 3 flat constructions, and I'll let the developers speak to that later. But just from the department side, to note, there was a question earlier about family size units. These are 3 flats, but they are still family size units. These are 3-bedroom units that are really in the 12 to 1,500 square foot range. That's the size of what a single family home was in 1950, right? So it is still a place where families can live, and this is a model from the financial side it works better. It meets the market better, because the housing itself is more affordable, and and the financing works in these neighborhoods. So just a kind of summary of, and this is again particular to Benita's projects, but and she's got a pretty large cluster here. So a total of proposing 34 units across 4 sites. And those again are composed primarily of 3 flats, 6 3-flats, and then 2 additional 8-flat buildings. So the total value of all of this land is close to $1 million, and our estimated we're still working on the budgets with Benita and in terms of in our path to city council introduction, but we're estimating more than $10 million of investment here. So that's quite a bit of investment in on one really street and corner. To give an outline of the timeline, like I said, these were released in April of 24. We were done with evaluations right around this time last year and made our recommendations. It takes a while to get these things going. A lot of I should mention also in our application process that we understand that folks are not going to be able to hire an architect necessarily and do drawings prior to having security of having the land. That's a risk. So we expect that people apply with kind of placeholder, drawings or reference images, something that gives us a good idea of what the intention is, but that there will then be a process probably of kind of right sizing that and being specific to the site, part of DPD's evaluation process prior to introducing. I should note, just all land sales have to go through a city council process, have to be approved by city council. Prior to that, as part of DPD's vetting process, we need to see dimension plans. We don't need like permit drawings prior to city council. We just need a conceptual plan that gives us an understanding of scale of the site planning, and that allows us to evaluate it from an urban design and zoning perspective, so we can flag anything. If the zoning bureau says this is going to be an issue, you might need a special use or you might need an administrative adjustment for some issue, we can do that for the applicants so that they're aware that they're going to need to go through that process as well. For these infill lots, that's not going to be really the case. Typically, people are applying for and proposing buildings that fit within the existing zoning. We don't want to have to go through zoning changes for infill lots. But in any case, working with Benita and Joseph and Alderman Dowell, I think we finally arrived at a place where everybody feels pretty good about the design and how these buildings will kind of fit into the streetscape. So we're here tonight with the community meeting, and then I think our attention is to try to, and I think actually Joseph's have already been introduced, but with Benita's sites, I think we're hoping to get those introduced as early as September this fall. So land sales are introduced to City Council. They're then deferred to the Housing and Real Estate Committee. That is where an actual presentation is made. And that's where folks can also, attend and ask questions. And then, assuming it's approved, it's then passed out of City Council the following month. Following that, yep, sorry.
Justin, I want to get you to wrap up.
Yeah, sorry.
There's like 4 questions, but I want to get to Benita and Joseph.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm almost done. I was just going to say, after City Council passage, we hope to see closing on the land very, very soon, and the closing conditions are full permit drawings, so having permits ready and proof of financing, and then we close, and the land is in the private market and ready for development. That's all I have.
All right, so there are 3 questions on the program, and then I want to get to the presentations of the particular projects. So one person says that they checked the Shy Block site website last week, and this person did not see Bronzeville lots. The date expires June 30th. Question. The same question from the second person. The application deadline says June 30th.
Yeah, so actually most of our market rate sites, our infill lots, the standard lots that we're talking about today, are actually 45-day listings. So if we list them on April 1st, the window would be to mid-May. So they then would disappear after mid-May. We do have, in the case of an RFP, or I think that was probably the June 30th deadline was for, I don't know what the June 30th deadline, but for like an RFP or missing middle, we have longer deadlines, just because we expect that the putting together the application for those is going to be longer. But there's nothing currently open on the platform. The next round will be in October. And if there are parcels that people are interested in purchasing, they can email me, or they can talk to Alderman Dowell directly. They can, and we'll work with the third ward to just know what our list is. We usually want to solidify that by really the end of August, early September, so that we can get the valuations and have everything ready to post.
Okay, and just to answer the person that says there are no lots in Bronzeville, they're gone. No, we have plenty of vacant lots in the third ward. And they're not gone, but the list for October has not yet been put on the website for the October application. Last question, do you require proof of financing for the full development with the application, similar to the CCLBA?
Full financing, no. So we basically, you're required to prove financing at closing, but prior to city council, we want some security that you're very close or there. For sites like this, infill development, developers often have a line of credit, so they can, that we'd like to see letters of intent from lenders, or just proof. We ask for sources and uses basically, but it's a pretty high level. We don't necessarily get into a performer or anything like that. But we just want to understand, like, how much equity is in the project, how much debt are you taking on, where are you getting the money from, and so forth.
All right, and the last question before we go to Benita and Joseph is, curious why there are so few applications for those Bronzeville lots. This person thinks that they know the answer, but they want you to expound.
The truth is, now that we've done this for a few rounds, I would say there aren't, there's probably only half a dozen people that we've seen so far that are maybe consistently able to build these buildings. We don't have enough developers that are of the smaller scale. Some sites do attract a lot. I mean, we have some sites that'll get 8 applications, but a lot of times many of those just aren't qualified. So we'd love to see more. We'd love to see more qualified applicants, so that we could sort of spread the wealth.
Okay, so before we go to Benita, I just wanted to say that tonight's town hall is focused on the Shy Block Builder program. At the next town hall meeting, we thought we could get them in today, but turns out it didn't work out. But the City Lots for Working Families program out of the Department of Housing is also coming forward, and I'd like to bring that at the next community meeting. That's being done by what's his name? Judah and Melvin Bailey. Mike Judah,
Melvin
right?
Bailey,
Thank
yep.
you. Mike Judah and Melvin Bailey. Benita? You're
Hi.
on.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me grab my presentation. Share. Okay. So that was beginning. Okay. Are we able to see it? Wonderful. So my name is Benita Harris, and I'm the CEO of Sunshine Management. We're a vertically integrated real estate firm, construction management, development, real estate brokerage, and property management. A little bit about myself. We're 5 generations into the community. My grandparents migrated here in the 1950s. I currently stay right on 39th and King Drive, less than 3 blocks from the development. My daughter stays 2 blocks from there. Our designer is a block away. So we're truly vested in the community. Just a little bit about our background, what we've done, where our firm is geared towards bridging the equity gap that exists in communities of color. A few awards that we've won we were 2025 multifamily developer of the year with Cook County Land Bank. We've been recognized Chicago Tribune, ABC, Cranes, Wall Street Journal. So we've accumulated quite a bit of success, and we've been recognized for our impact in disinvested communities. So we're very, very proud to share that we're a women-led firm, and we work with Black women as well. So the first two is Kenya Hunter and Keisha, which will be the real estate brokers that will represent the development. Jacinta of JMF Design, and all of these people are currently on the call as well. So she also designed 43 Green. She's designed all of our developments as well. And then also our attorney, Erica Finley. Our firm, Sunshine Management, we're 15 people, we have 15-person staff, so we have more than enough capacity to handle the development. Just some of our newspaper articles and publications about the work that we've done in the community, around the community in Chicago. Here's one of the projects that we just completed in Washington Park at 59th and Calumet. The exterior of the building, Jacinta also designed this property, all the interior finishing. So just wanted to show you some pictures of a real life example of what it looks like, and not only renderings. So here's pictures, and then the next slide will be just a video presentation, just so you can see it. And we're gonna hope that the sound doesn't play. So I'll cut that off. These are 3 units. So each of these units there, I think they're around 1,700 square feet. The finishes are very, very much like what you'll see in St. Regis or One Chicago. Some of our upscale luxury products is in the city. We are very proud of our developments. They're 3 bedrooms. One of the things that we ensure that we have a lot of windows, not only windows on the front facade, but windows going down from the front to the rear of the building. We have a lot of closet space. We love a master en-suite with a double vanity, soaking tub, separate shower, and also a private loo. So that's very, very important to us. All of the appliances are included as well. We believe that our model of a 3 flat is the true affordable model, where an owner would occupy 1 unit, and then they'll rent out the other units, and that will cover your debt service for the building. So here's a site plan of the current lots that we have, parcels in the 3rd ward. So we have 6 3 flats, which are parcels A. So this is King Drive to the west here, and then Vincennes. So A, B, C, D, E, and F, these are all 3 flats. And one of the things that we are ensuring that we bring also is the first floor ADA compliant buildings. And then this building here is an 8 unit. So here's 426 East 42nd Place. This is the front facade of the building. And I'll just quickly go through to make sure and ensure that we have time for questions. These are the buildings to the south side of 42nd Place. So one of the things that we ensure that we, Alderman Dowell, we ensure that we made sure that the front doors also, there are different colors. The roof line, there's some variation with the roof line as well. Here's a site plan for the 3-story new construction. And then the floor plan. Floor plan is very similar to what you saw from the video presentation and photos. So you have 3 bedrooms here. This is the master en-suite. You have a separate soaking tub, stand-up shower, toilet, and double bowl sink, walk-in closet. We have plenty closet space throughout the construction. Second and third floor, they're pretty much duplicates. We also have a rear deck on all of the properties. This is the 8 unit that sits at the corner of 42nd and Vincennes. This also has 2 balconies for the north apartments and 1 balcony for the south. First floors are also ADA compliant. And we wanted to ensure that this building and all of the 3 units look like one development. So just to ensure that all of the facades matched or look like they're part of one development. Here's your site plan as well. All of the units are 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. So we had an earlier question for families. These are all suited for families. And are there any questions?
Thank you, Benita. Can you talk a little bit about the square footage of the, you did mention the square footage is for the 3 flat. I think you mentioned what, 1,700? Was that
Yeah, so
it?
they're from 1,500 square feet. So the lots are a little small. So the reason why we also did ADA compliant is so that we can gain some square footage for those units. So they're a little over 1,500 feet per unit.
All right,
And
and for the,
max-
and in the 8-unit building, will we
Those are
find
little-
similar?
Yes, and so those are a little larger. Those are around 1,700 to 1,800 square feet.
Okay. Someone named Danielle Solomon says, amazing work, Benita. And then in parentheses, she has Rendell. I don't know what that means. Why are these rental units and not for sale? This is from an anonymous attendee. Will Sunshine own and manage them? Are they market rate rental?
So these are for sale. And so when we said the affordable model, we believe in home ownership. So our firm believes in creating market rate housing for sale. And so that the owner would buy the 3 flat, will own the 3 flat, they will live in 1 unit and rent out the other 2.
Is that the model that you have on Calumet?
Yes, it is. And so the benefit of that is that the 2 units cover the debt service for the owner. So they're able to build wealth and cover their debt service as well.
Okay.
But then also supply 2 units to the market. So in the 8 unit, we will have 2 affordable units at 60% AMI. And the other 6 would be market rate.
All right, well, I don't see any other questions for you in the Q&A, so I'm gonna ask, one just popped up. What support is there, this is from anonymous attendee, what support is there for first-time owners who may not be used to owning rentals?
We've actually partnered with NHS to think about providing some first-time homeowner buyer seminars. Also, It Takes a Village, they're building a facility at 49th and Cottage Grove. So they're really interested in their staff and parents being able to purchase some of these units as well. Kenwood Oakland Community Organization, they're also in support of the project. And they're looking to see if they can facilitate some homeowner programs as well. So we are partnering with those organizations to provide homeowner counseling.
Okay, and what are the sales price on the 3 flats?
The sales price, it will be market rate. So our cost all in is they're around the high 900 number.
Okay, I don't see any other questions on this one. So I'm gonna move over to Joseph Deshay. Joseph?
Thank you.
Thank you, Benita.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Mr. Duche? You're on mute.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you and welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
You're up.
All right. Thanks for having me. Well, just a little brief history about me. My name is Joseph Duche. My company is called Jacob the Builder. It's I named it after my brother, who's a prominent builder in Bronzeville. His name was Jacob Duche, and he passed away in 2017 in a car accident. But combined between my brother and I, Jacob, we since 2006, we've built approximately 40 homes throughout the south side of Chicago. In Bronzeville, probably close to 30. Most of them single family, and due to the housing crisis, I've now started only doing multi-families of 3 flats that we're talking about, similar to what Benita's doing. And I was born in Bronzeville, 4936 and 4938, Washington Park Court. We own those properties, 3816 South King Drive. And also, I went to Hales Franciscan, Corpus Christi. I heard someone talking about SBEV. We actually went there as kids. So, my footprint's all over Bronzeville. So, I'm ready.
All right, you want to go through your press? Okay. You already started talking about
Oh, yeah,
yourself.
I already did.
So
I already said it. So we can, I'm pretty much, my project is pretty similar to what Benita's doing. Only difference is mine are 3 flat units between 1,200 and 1,400 square feet per unit. Only difference is I don't know if what the other developers are doing, but mine will be duplex. The first floor, I'm going to have a basement because zoning allows that. These lots are RM5 and not RT4s. So I'm able to do a duplex in 1 unit because most of my these are for sale market rate. And then I try to attract homeowners who want to live in the property and get them 2 tenants to self-manage it. And it's pretty much a wash at that point. The lenders are really happy to loan when they get home buyers like that. They got income and coming in like in Bronzeville, because the market rents out from like $2,000 to $3,000 market rent. So the money's there, and it all makes sense. So and these buildings are also masonry, 100% masonry also. On the front, the rear, and the both sides, also masonry. And the room counter, as you see in the slide, each unit will be 5, 3, 2. 5 rooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2 4-bath.
So Joseph, tell folks the lots that you're, one of the locations is 4336 South Forestville, and then you're
Correct.
doing those other 3 addresses, correct?
The other 3 are the scattered lots, I guess they call infill development. It's 421 East 42nd Place, and then 423 East 42nd Place. That's this lot right here. It's a double lot. And so these 2 buildings will mirror each other. They'll be identical in color, brick color, and everything. They'll be an identical building. There's nothing different. And then I have 433 East 42nd Place, maybe 3 buildings down to the east. Those it'll mirror the other 2 buildings at 421 and 423.
Okay. And so we'll go back to the Forestville address.
the Forestville, this is a double lot. This address is 4336 and 4338 Forestville. These units all be duplex. The lot wasn't wide enough. The square footage wasn't there to do two separate buildings. So I just had to make the most out of it. And so we went with 4 units instead of 3. And we have 2 apartments in the front. That will be 1 and 3. So you'll have duplex first floor to basement is 1 unit. Then you have second floor, third floor duplex. That's another unit. So that's unit 1 and 2. Then to the rear, it'll be identical. You'll have 3 and 4, which will take first floor and basement, second floor and third floor. And the room count will be similar, 532. Each unit will be 5 rooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. And we'll also have parking at the rear, a 4-car garage.
Is that the end of your slide presentation?
Yes. And I also, if you go ahead in my slide presentation, I don't know if you keep going, I have a previous, these are some right there. This is some of the interior features of some properties that I just completed and sold on the Langley. 4605, 4634, just completed those within the last 12 months. Pretty much the same layout, real nice finishes. And these buildings sold in the high 9s, close to $1 million. And they sold to homeowners, less than 60 days market time on the market. And like I said, I was able to attract homeowners who live in the building and self-manage it with 2 tenants, and they're getting about $3,000, $2,700 to $3,000 a month rent. So, I mean, they're basically living free, from a mortgage with the debt service. So it makes sense.
All right, Jacob, thank you so much. Not Jacob, Joseph.
Joseph.
Yeah, Jacob on the brain.
I know, he used to always bug you out of bed.
So let's go to some questions. Benita, these are probably questions you can also answer, so you and Joseph can take a stab at them. I think the concern that's being raised by anonymous attendee is what's to keep banks and other investors from buying these and being absentee landlords? How do you protect the community from that?
I think that's a great question. I think as a licensed, we're licensed, so we can't technically discriminate. However, with our developments, we've only had owners that have bought them. If the city, the city could impose something, but we, as licensed individuals, we could not do that because that would be discriminatory.
Right. And for speaking for myself, I've been fortunate enough with the two multifamilies that I've built. And actually, I've also built within the last 36 months, I also built single families, one in your ward, Alderman Dowell. And I've been fortunate enough to get home buyers. I don't think my properties attract investors. I don't know if it's the price. I don't know what it is, the amenities, but I've been fortunate enough to get home buyers who actually like the property enough and appreciate my work and say, hey, I want to live there. I love the area and all the economic base in Bronzeville and all the good things about Bronzeville, the history. it's the home buyers come at me. I don't know, maybe some of the older properties attract investors, but just like Bonita could agree with me, what we're doing is really attracting homeowners who actually want to live in these properties because they appreciate the great work that we're doing. And it's just like, so I'm not, I haven't had to choose or make a decision like that on who, and it is discriminatory. So, but I haven't been put in that situation yet because, like I said, we're attracting people that want to actually live in these properties and self-manage them with their tenants and watch their properties appreciate over the years.
All right.
Yeah, into that too, Dow. I'm sorry. We are partnering with It Takes a Village and NHS. We're building a buyer pipeline for these. And so that would also help mitigate that.
Okay, great. I think this question is for you and for Justin. This is also from an anonymous attendee who is concerned about, he wants to know, or she wants to know, what kind of buyer can actually afford a $900,000 home or 3-flat in this case. Of course, the area has a higher income bracket, but since these are city lots, do we see that there's a need, or are there some kind of requirement with regards to the buyer? Does the city have any requirements for the buyer, Justin, and then Benita and Joseph, if you can chime in here as well?
No, I mean, we don't, and to be honest with you, there are legal issues from the city side as well in terms of how we can, how restrictive we can be. But I mean, given that this is through our block builder process, we have this vetting process, right? So we want to support local developers who are, again, building products for the local community, people that want to live in the community, as Joseph and Benita said. We do have the affordable requirements ordinance still in place, of course, so that triggers when any development hits 10 units or more. So in Benita's case, and that it's also part of that ordinance is there's a contiguous lot requirement. So Benita's developments are triggering that ordinance. So as she said, she'll be providing a couple of affordable units on site. Honestly, like there is continual discussion on the city side, both in the Department of Housing and in DPD, about how best to structure our programs to provide housing for people, for real people, not really the kind of absentee investor class. We're fully aware of how much that's hurt the community and historically, and continues to do so. Even more so in other metropolitan areas that have seen a lot more of that kind of investor activity.
All right. Benita, it looked like
As
you
far
were
as
getting
our
ready to
buyer
say something.
profile, yeah. As far as buyer profile, some of the lots that there's Black people that's moving back to the community. So one of the things that we've paid attention to as far as our firm is brain drain. So a lot of times when we do have higher income or attain higher degrees, we tend to leave the community in search of better amenities, other places. And what we offer is an opportunity to bring our talent back to the community with some preferred housing developments. So we're very proud to say that we have had some Black surgeons and doctors and professors that have bought our properties, and then they also offer the other 2 units to at affordable prices, at market rate prices. And so that is an incentive to invite just the talent back to the community. So as far as the buyer profiles, yeah.
And Joseph, what about you? What's your typical buyer profile look like?
The people that buy the properties that have bought properties from me within the last 3 years, they were all professionals. Chef, one of the a prominent restaurant that just opened up. I'm not gonna say the name, but he bought a property from me. I mean, these are people that I would think that their credit score is over 700. They, the one guy's a lawyer, the other guy's he works at University of Chicago. He's a radiologist or something. The people that are coming back are professional. People in the workforce, they're people that can pretty much afford it. They haven't had any problems because when the lender look at these, when you're trying to purchase a property in the range of $900,000 to $1 million, they actually factor in the fact that this is an income producing property. This is just not a single family property. You have 2 rents in the building. So, and that market rent for anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000, that kind of like helps out for the financing, and it makes it affordable for them. So some of these people may have to come out $1,000 or $1,500 extra a month for $1 million property.
Right.
So.
All right. Linda Williams is asking, are both developers bidding on the same lot space on 42nd Place, or are there 2 developments on 42nd Place? They're 2 different developments. I think Justin showed on his map those that were being done by Benita Harrison and those that are being done by Joseph Deshay. You can see this presentation again, like I said, on the website or on YouTube. And if you'd like to get a copy of the presentations, you can email us at ward03@cityofchicago.org, and we will email them to you. Benita, a question for you. Do you mind repeating what you said about building a buyer's pipeline? I believe it takes a village.
Yes. And so we're partnering with It Takes a Village institution. They're very interested in our developments, having their staff, which they have a school at, they just opened a school at 49th in Cottage Grove. And so majority of their staff and parents are now homeowners. I think it's more than 90%. And so what they want to encourage is home ownership within their staff and also their parent population. And so our site will be one of the sites that they're giving homeownership classes, but they're also presenting our development to them. So that would be an opportunity to have our local parents and also teachers from that facility to purchase in the community.
Okay, anonymous attendee, I don't know what you mean by mansplaining, so can you retype your question and make it clear? Make it plain. Make it plain. Okay, thank you for that, Benita. Ellen Kennedy is asking, Alderman Dowell, what's the status of City Council declaring a TIF surplus to release funds back to CPS? I think it is early to answer that question. We usually look at surplusing of TIF funds back to CPS during the budget season, and the budget season has not officially kicked off within the City Council at this time. That's usually around October. The next question comes from an anonymous person. My understanding is that Bronzeville, and Justin, this might be for you, is one of the only communities, if not the only community in the country, that is experiencing gentrification by Black residents, otherwise called withintrification. That's a new word, anonymous attendee. I wish I had a resource to share, but cannot remember where I read this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if gentrification is the right word, because a lot of people mean different things by that, but certainly Bronzeville, I think, is uniquely positioned among historically African-American neighborhoods across the country to really redevelop with a much more robust kind of community, mixed income, just given the assets that the neighborhood has, obviously the history that it has, and as Benita and Joseph have said, I mean, there's obviously clearly, and it has been really happening, for 10 or 15, 20 years, that there's been a kind of consistent uptick in infill development, and it is bringing higher income individuals into the community for sure. We tend to view that as a good thing in the sense that we want a mixed income community. We also want to maintain affordability, obviously. So that's why we have things like, the Affordable Requirements Ordinance in place. And you know, the other thing I think that I would want to say about these type of projects where we have a live-in landlord, essentially, you know, those are, if you think historically in the city, those are the type of properties where people don't feel as much pressure to constantly be raising rents, right? Because they get a mortgage at a set rate. They want to cover the mortgage. They don't have the incentive that a larger company has to like keep jacking up the rent as fast as possible. Mom and pop landlords tend to be, you know, the best, in the city. So,
And
you know,
and I'll add that, you know, it's not just the kinds of projects we're seeing here this evening, but as I mentioned, we're going to do the city lots for working families next month, which is another model. But we also have CHA transformation housing happening in the ward. We've got some senior housing and intergenerational housing. So my focus has been on trying to make sure that Bronzeville and parts of the third ward, not just Bronzeville, but Washington Park and Fuller Park and Douglas, that we can have a diverse set of or types of housing stock, and that's my commitment. Let's see. Okay. Mansplaining. Okay, I think he got back to us. He says, city guy was not saying what percentage will be affordable and what is the AMI.
so these are still ongoing conversations with Benita's team, but I think the latest update we had again was 2 units in the 8-unit building. And Benita, you probably have a better idea of where the percentages are going to be, because there's a range, I think, that qualifies under city lots or under ARO.
Yeah, if they're for rent, then there would be a 60%. With them being for sale, I think it goes up to 100% AMI and so that's the area median income. And so that also is, it is not set until it's sale because we have things that fluctuate like the interest rate. And so those will probably teeter around that $300,000 mark. But we'll know at the end. And so we've had ongoing conversations with DOH, and they can't really tell us until we're at that point of sale when we have an interest rate that we can kind of isolate to say what that end sale price would be, because it has to be based on the family's income.
All right. Robin Pettit is asking about any more grocery stores or Pete's. Robin, you missed the meeting before last where that was a presentation given by Zeb McLaurin. We're still on track to getting Pete's at 39th and State. We had several hiccups I explained, one being the pandemic, but the other one being the difficulty of getting the cooperation from the Chicago Housing Authority and from the former mayor. We do have the commitment from Mayor Johnson on this Pete's store, and we've actually moved the site plan to the south side of 39th Street. So we're working to get that in place now. But to answer your question about will we get any more amenities, retail options come when we can continue to increase the population. Retail and amenities follow population increases. And as Justin mentioned earlier, we've seen a population decline. We're on the upswing now, but we need more people to populate the community, which is why this housing development is really important. Regarding your question on what's happening with the strip on 35th Street, where the Walgreens and Home Run Inn and other stores are that have closed, I can't give you any update on that because those properties are located within the 4th Ward. So I would ask that you reach out to Alderman Lamont Robinson, and he may be able to answer your question with more specificity. Thank you. Okay. Last question from Cara Wright. To clarify, are the units in the 8-unit building a condo or an apartment building?
They are
Benita.
condos. They are for sale condos.
For sale condos. All right. Well, we've come to the end of the presentations. I want to thank Justin and Joseph and Benita for giving your really exciting projects a hearing this evening. Again, I ask if you have any questions or, some thoughts after this meeting, please reach out to me at ward03@cityofchicago.org, and I'll get back to you. I just want to remind people that we have some major infrastructure work going on in the ward along Indiana between 55th and 31st Street. So I ask that you be careful and on the lookout for the improvements that are coming on Indiana, along with a major streetscape that's being done on 47th Street. And I know it's been inconvenient, but sometimes with progress comes inconvenience. So look out for that. And I want to remind people that on August 2nd at 10 a.m., we are having our back to school celebration at 5046 South State Street. So put that on your calendar and bring the kiddies out, and let's get some school supplies and have some fun. With that said, I hope everyone has a nice evening, and thank you so much for attending tonight's Third Ward Town Hall meeting. To my staff, Constantine, Brian, and Allison, and Lucy, who are here, thank you very much for staying a little later, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.